Hello, my name is Brian Mitchell. I'm the president and owner of Choice Construction Companies. We're out of Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. I'm a civil engineer and a UW graduate. I've been a contractor for over 35 years in the state of Wisconsin. I've done work in Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, New Mexico. Choice Construction is a minority-owned union steel erector. We place reinforcing steel, we hang structural girders. Basically, we do iron work, and we work with the Iron Workers Union. We have done numerous Wisconsin landmarks. If you've been to southeastern Wisconsin, Hone Bridge, Monona Terrace in Madison, Potawatomi Hotel in Milwaukee. Northwestern Mutual is a big project we're working on, the Zoo Interchange. We have iron workers working all over. I wanted to talk today about, or I've been asked to talk today about things that I've learned in my 35 years of construction that I think are important for success in being a contractor on government work. I have spent a fair amount of time working with new contractors and working with minority contractors as the president of the Minority Contractors Association in this state. I've learned that one of the most important things to talk about when you're looking at government work is to know first and foremost, before you put that quote in, who your customer is. All the jobs have a plan holders list. All the jobs have some type of contact. What you want to know specifically is who you want to talk to in that organization. You don't want to give your numbers out blindly. You don't want to give them to people who are your competitors. You don't want to give them out to people who aren't going to use you. You want to use the opportunity of the project to get to know the contractors that you want to go into business with. You want to give them a call. You want to talk to them. You want to find out when they want the number. You want to know how they want it. Do they want an email? Do they prefer a fax? Do they want a registered letter? Do they want you to call them beforehand? When you give them your number, you want to include your cell phone number so people can call you at the last minute. You want to talk to them also about specifics. Perhaps you're looking at the job one way and they're looking at it a different way. Maybe they want to do it in a different sequence than you want to quote. This gives you an excellent opportunity to expand on that and find out from the contractor what they're looking for, and it gives them a chance to gauge you and to get to know you. If they're getting a number on a piece of paper 8 hours before the bid is due and they can't get you on the phone, it doesn't matter how cheap you are, they're not going to have confidence to use you. On the other hand, if you've talked to them and you've verified scope, they know exactly that you're including what they want done. You've talked to them about how you're going to do it and how you will go about it, then you're not just at a commodity. You're not just the guy with the low number. You're the guy they can use. I mean, what you're selling is a solution to their problems. So, stay in contact with them. The second thing that I'd say is most important is definition of scope. No matter what the project is, no matter what the job is, you want to define what work you're going to do. Basically, you want to say, I'll do this work at this price under these conditions, and you want to be very specific. You want to put it in writing so that people know how to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. They're looking through a number of quotes, they're looking through a number of proposals, and they're doing them in a time crunch at the last minute, and you have to tell them what you're offering. It saves a lot of trouble down the road. It keeps you from being subject to scope creep, where people tell you later they thought you included that with the number. It saves arguments. You have to be very specific about what your scope is. It also can generate you revenue. You can tell people, these are the conditions under which I bid the job. Now you want to do it differently. It's going to cost me more money, so let's negotiate a new price. You have to be very specific about scope. I started out in this business with a 5 or 6 line scope letter. Now our scope letter goes to 4 pages, and every single phrase in that scope letter was written in blood. an error I made, something that somebody else wanted us to do for free, something that was a problem or an argument or some type of disagreement. And so I urge everybody to be very specific about scope. And on the other end, it helps too. Sometimes you have to send these guys a scope letter ahead of time before you send them the actual price. I'll send you the price at the end of the day, or I'll send you the price next week, but here's the scope of work I'm going to price. And that way they can talk to you. It's another opportunity to talk to the contractor to get a comfort level. You want to also talk to them because there may be surprises. Maybe you're working next to a railroad and you don't know that railroad insurance is required. Who's going to pay for the railroad insurance? Sometimes flagmen are required, almost always on an active railroad track. And who's going to pay for that flagman? The railroad's going to charge somebody for it. What equipment do you expect them to supply? These are all questions that you state in your scope letter. Be clear about the taxes. Who pays sales taxes? Who's responsible? The most important thing about all of this is to know your costs. You have to know what it costs you to do the work. You will get pressure to reduce your price or to change your price. And you can't adequately get into a discussion with anybody unless you know what it's going to cost you to do the work. Not what people tell you it should go for, or not what they tell you your competitors will do it for. You have to know what it's going to cost you to do the work so you can have a reasonable conversation. You know, when I started this job, the very first highway letting I went to, we didn't get a single job. I was working for one of the big contractors, and we got not one single project. I walked in dejection down the hall, and I said to my boss, "This is the worst feeling in the world. We've worked on this for months, and we didn't get a job." And the guy stopped me, and he looked me dead in the eye, and he said, "The worst feeling in the world is getting a job for a price you can't do it for." He said it takes no particular talent in the world to get $1 million worth of work for $800,000. I've always remembered that. You're in this to make money, and you're in there to make a profit. I think a lot of times small contractors are so happy to be involved that we wag our tails, and we're so happy to be at the table that we forget that the whole purpose of this is to make a profit and to take home money for your family and for your future. So you have to know your costs so you can make trade-offs when you get into a negotiation. Once you get the job, or once you're offered the job, or once you've been told that you're the guy who's going to be there, if you call yourself a contractor, you have to read the contract. The contracts are thick, they are convoluted, they're full of legalese, and they are written to benefit the person issuing the contract. And you need to take the time to read it. A contract is an agreement between two equals. Therefore, it's negotiable. If there's stuff you don't like in it, it's worth talking to people about and having a discussion about it. There may be stuff that just doesn't apply to you, or that they'll do without, or that can be better suited to your needs. It's worth a discussion. What they send you is not iron-plated. One of the things to talk about is payment terms and forms of payment. How often do I get paid? How long before I get paid? These aren't questions to just to worry about afterwards. They're not embarrassing questions. You want to know about the money. You want to have these discussions with your bank so your bank knows how much money they're going to lend you and when you expect to get paid. What about retainings? Those are all questions to ask at this point in time. You want to stay in touch with the people on the job site who work for the contractor and who work for you. You want to talk to the contractor's foreman on a regular basis. You don't want to be surprised. You don't want them to be surprised. If there are job site meetings, you need to go to the ones that pertain to you. You need to talk to these guys every week. Talking to them puts you in touch with them too. You get another opportunity to interact with them and for them to see how competent you are and to sell your product. And that's what it's about. You're selling your product. How's it going? Are you getting what you expect? Are you getting the things you want from your company, from our company? Thirdly and lastly, monitor your payments. Make sure that you're getting paid on time. Make sure you're getting paid the correct quantity. Watch your cash flow like a hawk and stay in touch with your bank. Those are the things that kill contractors is cash flow. Don't let anybody walk you out past the terms of the agreement. Watch what you're getting paid when you're getting paid and find out if there's any discrepancy why it exists. Thank you.